Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today I want to talk about essentially the way that you can really make sure you handle Maddening well in Fire Emblem Three Houses. So these are skills that I've really picked up recently, and it's something that I've always done, but this is something I've been thinking about more intently since I've been playing Fire Emblem 12's hardest difficulty, which is called Lunatic Reverse, where the enemy always attacks first, even on player phase. So no matter what, you have to take hits from terrifyingly strong enemies, and these enemies all have they have the best weaponry from the beginning of the game. It's rough stuff. It's hard having a Chapter 1 brigand throw a silver axe at you, right? So they hit super hard, but no matter what, you have to take a hit if you want to take them down. And it's become a really good teaching tool for me personally to become just better at Fire Emblem in general. And I kind of want to transfer those skills over to here to Three Houses and share them with you in a way that can really help you overcome Maddening. Because I know it's been out for probably, I think, over a year now. Or not over a year, but close to a year now. Maddening's been available, but I think it is still giving some people trouble. So I want to share with you some things that will help you make it a little easier. So, and that is making sure you are safe on enemy phase. Making sure you are safe on enemy phase. And what I mean by that is not being completely out of enemy range on enemy phase, but just making sure that each unit is going to survive through enemy phase and put you in a decent position for your next player phase. And to illustrate that, we're going to look at Chapter 4 here. Let me turn off these ranges real quick before I start talking. We're going to do Chapter 4 here. This is on New Game Plus, so I have some spells and stuff that you won't have till later. So this might be slightly more useful, like 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 chapters from now, but here it still applies, and I just want to show it off. So, scary stuff here. We got the Death Knight, who, if you go into his range on Maddening, he moves and will come and kill you. And if you're playing on not New Game Plus, you are most likely just going to die. Pretty much anyone's just going to die to him. Except unless you have specific setups where you have someone with high defense and a shield, or you're just specifically prepared for it, essentially. And if you're not prepared for it, he'll probably just mess you up, right? So, but for the case of this, I'm gonna try and kill him on not this phase, but on the next player phase. But so the big problems are these two here. Both have high strength, pretty high attack stats. This guy's speed is actually pretty low, so he's not too hard to deal with. But the problem is he's in the Death Knight range, and to attack him safely, you have to attack from a distance and take a counter attack, right? Which is frustrating. And then this guy, same kind of deal. So how do you stay safe on this phase, is the question. How do you stay safe for this enemy phase? So your thoughts are, maybe I run to the side, but then you're in range of these guys. And you need to have people with decent enough defense to not die in one round, right? And then you also have this archer who can pretty much cover their range pretty well. And then you got these two guys on this side, a similar problem, although they don't have an archer backing them up, so it might be a little easier to go this way. So you may be thinking, okay, well, I'll get out of range of the people in the middle and just run to the sides. And that can work. That can be fine. Oops. That can work and that can be fine, but look how big the range is on this archer especially. Escaping that is actually pretty difficult. So it can be hard to get every single unit out of there. So now, what do we do to take care of those two in a fashion that's going to keep us safe for enemy phase? Now, you think, okay, I'll just kill them, right? But you're only going to be able to attack them with one unit safely, unless you have an archer, or you have range +1 like I do on Lysithea here, but we're not going to pay attention to that because this is New Game Plus. Like Lysithea, you can't kill them, right? Annette's not in range. We don't have... She might be able to with Thoron, combined with Lysithea, right? We'd have to go into range of this guy to have Felix do anything, but then he's in range of the Death Knight, and it's a whole thing. The way we're going to handle it is not by killing these enemies per se, but by making it so they cannot harm us on enemy phase. And that's by using some gambits and spells that I think are a little underrated at this point in Three Houses. So the gambits this is FE3H Really great Fire Emblem Three Houses resource. They have way more information than other sites at this point, and it's really well organized. You guys should check it out if you are interested. Again, fe3h.com. I'll put it in the description. But here are some gambits that I think are kind of underutilized or not talked about as much as they should be. Number one, we have Fusillade, or Fusillade. I'm not really quite sure how to say it, but it doesn't matter all that much. It's an early game gambit that can be used, usually E or D rank, really inexpensive, and again, available really early. You can attack from 2 to 3 spaces away with that gambit, and it also has a pretty decent area, like ranged area of effect. It can affect 5 tiles. And the same goes for Group Flames and Group Ice. And then you also got Group Lightning. All these early game gambits that, when you look at their stats, seem a little underwhelming. You know, like 5 attack. Is that what that is? That's attack, right? Yeah, it's attack. Just making sure. Like 5 might. Only 2 uses is pretty standard, but only 50 hit, which can be kind of sketchy, especially if you attack from 3 range. That decreases it even more. You know, only 60 hit with Group Flames, only 50 hit with Group Ice. So they can seem underwhelming, and it's just like, why would I use those over some other slightly more reliable, or maybe ones that hit harder, deal more damage? But the point isn't to kill here, right? The point isn't to kill. The point is to neutralize and make it so you are safe on the enemy phase. So, for instance, this guy, we don't really have a good way to kill him safely and stay out of Death Knight's range. So we have Fusillade on our boy Felix here. But look at that, 30 hit. That's really bad. That's not something we want to rely on, right? I mean, you could try it and then use like a Divine Pulse use or something to see if it works out. But see, we miss, and that's really frustrating, right? So I guess we use the Divine Pulse and skip dialogue, and we could roll some RNs by having people attack and do some other things to change things, but that's unreliable. What we couldn't do is raise that rate with Rally Charm, which you can find on both Dorothea and Manuela. Manuela is super easy to recruit. She basically auto recruits. You just have to get a few levels under your belt, and Dorothea is not too hard to recruit either. So Rally Charm, which is +8 charm, which is effectively, correct me if I'm wrong, which is effectively +40 hit. So now we have 70 hit instead of 30 with your Gambit, which is crazy. And we could increase that even farther. If we had like an Archer with +1, with range +1, we could put right here, and that would give us a Gambit boost and give us at least +5 more hit unless they had the support, which would be even more. But I'm comfortable with trying 70 here. Let's see if this hits. We get the hit, which is great. And now that guy is locked down. I mean, Felix will have to take a hit from him, but that's not that big a deal, because Felix can take it. So, locked down. This guy is not going to threaten us on this coming enemy phase. Now, how do we deal with this guy? We could try to go for a Gambit. Use, we got Resonant Lightning or Group Flame or whatever you want to have on you. But for this guy, I want to illustrate something different. A spell that I think is slept on in this game. Let's go back here to fe3h.com. Go to spells and non-damaging white spells that I think are slept on. Gotta scroll up a little bit here. Alright, right there. Silence. Doesn't deal any damage, only has 3 uses, which isn't that bad. 100 hit, which is great. 3 to 10 range, so huge range. And what it does is foes hit are unable to use magic for 1 turn. There's not very many units that learn Silence, and I think for that reason it isn't as talked about as it should be. But units like Marianne learn it. I'm trying to remember who else learns it. I have a list over here. And this is Serenus Forest. There's certain things that I think Serenus Forest still does a little better. But we have Marianne, who learns it at B. Manuela, who learns it at B. Yuri learns it at B. And then Claude learns it at A. Claude and Yuri probably aren't going to be using it too much. But Marianne and Manuela, I think it's a cool niche that they have that people don't talk about as much. But here we're focused on Marianne, because that's who we're showing off here. But yeah, she learns Silence at B-ranked Faith. B-ranked Faith. and it is a really effective tool to take an enemy that would be threatening and be able to kill you, because like sure, she's in range, but she can't kill it. It's an effective way to just make this enemy totally neutralized and not be able to do anything next turn. 98% chance to hit, we nail it. Now this guy is like no threat at all. This guy is barely any threat. We have to go into his, like purposely go into his range. And now this whole area in the middle, completely safe this turn. We don't have to worry about any of these guys, they're not in range. The only enemy that could potentially hurt us if we stayed in the middle here is the Death Knight if we move just a few spaces up. Which is like, it's such a simple way to make this player phase, this enemy phase, so much safer than it is normally if you were to just run left or right and try to take these guys on the enemy phase. And now just for fun, let's take on the Death Knight.
Stay focused.
See if we can. We'll have Yuri take it. We gave him all the stat boosters. It'll be a fun way to end the video. But before we go, I do want to mention that we are still doing our 3 Houses Sabotage run tonight, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure to be there for that. It's going to be a blast. And we're also going to be streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, other stuff though. I'm not really sure what yet. We're either going to continue the Noble Commoner run of 3 Houses, or I might pick up Berwick Saga again, or maybe we'll finish Maniac Mode of Path of Radiance, but that was just getting tedious. It's not even like difficult at this point, it's just not fun. So that's a whole thing. So if we even just dodge it, it's awesome. And now now we're on this phase, and we can do the same thing. We can silence this guy again, or now we could have positioned, like the whole point is we could have positioned ourselves better, to be able to handle this turn and just kill him and stuff. But that's not really what I was showing off. Really what I was showing off is that, yeah, you can neutralize enemies without killing them, and that's kind of a big thing in this game that people don't talk about enough. But of course, we just got Lysithea to end this whole man's career. Destruction there, erupted. Alright, but that's gonna do it for today's video. Those are my just kind of like little things that I've been thinking about over the past like couple weeks as far as Fire Emblem strategy goes. It's just how simple and important it is to make sure your enemy phase is safe. And 3 Houses gives you so many tools to make it happen. So just really utilize your gambits, really utilize spells that you think might not be as good. There's also great combat arts like Encloser that you can take advantage of. So make sure to do those things if you're struggling on Maddening. If you have any questions or want to like more help or get better at Maddening mode, feel free to leave those questions in the comments or in the Discord. There's always people that are willing to help there. And maybe you'll give me a video idea that I can talk about. It'll be fun. And again, make sure to tune in to tonight's Chat Sabotage stream starting at 6 p.m. where we'll be starting at Chapter 3 of Fire Emblem 3 Houses on Maddening Chat Sabotage. So that chapter is actually pretty brutal. It's the Fog of War map that honestly can be pretty difficult on just fresh file Maddening. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll catch you next time, friends.